How's it going, everybody? Doing another collection video here today, video game collection video. This is the big one. My Xbox One collection. It is 97 games, I believe. One of them is 2-in-1. The Gears of War Rare Replay one came as I guess it came with a system or something. I don't know. A lot of these, well, no, I think like 22 of them are unopened. I'm not going to say each one, but thank you again to the people who gifted me some of these games as well. But I'm going to kind of just breeze through them. I'm not going to really talk much because it's going to stretch out too long. And my head is starting to hurt, and I wanted to get this film before it got worse. But figured might as well do it before I box them up. I'm going to start grabbing. They're mostly actually they're completely out of order, but Evil Within 2. This, in my opinion, is a bit of a hidden gem, honestly. It's a really cool horror game. I only played some of the first one, and this one is better than that. It's like slightly open. The areas you're in are typically a bit open, especially the one bigger area, but you're the same guy from the first one. What's his name here? Sebastian Castellanos. It says on the back, there are some disturbing enemies in here. And these are the people that made Ghostwire Tokyo as well, so they do good stuff. It's a really cool horror game. It's kind of underrated in my opinion. Dead Rising, this is like a remaster, I guess, of the original Dead Rising. Still my favorite of the Dead Rising. It is not the best game in the series. I think 3 is the best, game. But this is my favorite. I have a lot of nostalgia, especially when I played the original version on the 360. It was a big deal. You were like, holy crap, and so many enemies on screen. Super fun. Frank West's a classic character. And then they built upon it in 2, even though Frank West was out of 2, but they brought him back for Off the Record because people loved him, and then he came back in 4. But yeah, classic game. Star Wars Squadrons, the flight game that only has the cockpit view, which it takes a little bit to get used to. I've played some of this, and it's kind of fun, but I would prefer seeing the ship itself. It takes a little bit to get used to if you're not used to that view, but it looks really nice. I want to say this takes place after the New Republic. I don't know. Yeah, I thought this took place after, right as the fall of the Empire. I can't remember though. Siberia 3. This is actually the most recent game I've completed on the Xbox One. Cool point and click type game. I wanted to play it after playing the world before. Really cool game. Some of the puzzles can be tough in this one, Sometimes you might find yourself looking at a guide or something, but it's a cool, nice little story as well. I don't know. I like these kind of games. Little Nightmares 2. My fiance played this in the first one. I don't know much about it. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Awesome game. Probably one of my favorite of that generation. PS4 and Xbox One. Geralt's a great character. Big open world. A lot of cool quests. This game's pretty depressing, actually, overall. You're not getting a bright and cheery outcome in a lot of the quests in this game, and some are downright creepy and a bit disturbing, but it's such a good game, and the DLC is great as well. And Gwent is a cool game. Desperados 3. This is another turn-based tactical strategy game. It takes place in the Wild West. Pretty fun. Dishonored: Death the Outsider. So this was a standalone DLC. I believe her name is Billy here. Yes, Billy Lurk. Pretty sure she's in 2. I don't know if she's in the original Dishonored. But now she has some powers as well, and you're trying to take out the Outsider, the guy who kind of marks unlocks the people and gives them their abilities. Same thing with, what was the first guy's name? Corbin or some shit, I don't know. They're cool games and they have such a cool look. The Dishonored franchise is cool. And the gameplay is always fun. Maneater. It is what it is. It's showing you right on thing. You play a shark that your mother gets killed by a hunter in the beginning, and then you bite off the dude's hand, but he only cuts you and throws you back. He's like, I'll find you when you get older. And now you're killing people and you can upgrade and stuff, and you're killing other animals and shit. It's goofy. Mass Effect Andromeda. I actually really like this game. Story's a little ugh, but honestly, I really like this game. Like, I know a lot of people shit on it, and if you're comparing it to the original 3 Mass Effects, it's not on that level, but it does some cool stuff. It really does. I don't know. I really enjoyed this. Like, kind of the partial terraforming of the planets you go to and stuff. The characters overall aren't as good as the ones you got in the others as well, but I thought this was a cool game. South Park: The Fractured But Whole. This is the Steelbook Gold Edition. I picked this up because it was like, I already played the game, but this was $10 at GameStop. And it was new, so it had all the crap in it, postcards, blah, 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 bonus content. It has the Stick of Truth in here as well, which I've already played. And I had the Casa Bonita, and there was another DLC, I forget what it was. But it's an awesome, the first one was actually like an old school RPG. This one is more of a tactical strategy grid RPG. And it's cool, it's really cool. It's better than the first one. The first one's cool too, but this game's awesome. If you're not into South Park, some of the humor is you're not gonna enjoy. If it's not your kind of thing, but the game itself is a really good game. The gameplay and stuff is good. It's pretty much like playing through the show, but like 20, 30 hours. Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition. Obviously, this is sealed. A bunch of these coming up are going to be sealed here. I bought this because it was like $10 on Amazon. This was originally on the PS3. Actually, I think it was originally a 360 exclusive, and then it came over to the PS3 years later. Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age, same thing. I got this down in Florida when I was down there one time. It was $10 in Walmart. I have played some of the original version, like 10, 12 hours. And it was cool. Like I said, I think once we're down in like North Carolina, I might have some more time to kind of focus on games. Sniper 3 Elite. Set sealed. I've not played it yet. I have played some other sniper games in my time. You're a sniper. I've not done much tapping here, which some people might like, some might not. Same thing again, Wasteland 3. I picked this one up because it was cheap, and it is another turn-based strategy RPG. King's Quest Complete Edition. Collection, sorry. It's King's Quest. It's point and click. It's classic. Pretty funny dialogue in here as well. It looks really nice. It's a point and click game. King's Quest has been around for a long time. The Falconeer. I got this one because it was like $10 at Best Buy, and it's kind of cool. I did play some of it. You're like a guy on back of this Falcon. It's kind of like I'm not gonna say Panzer Dragoon, but it's more in the vein of like a Crimson Skies, even though you're flying on something. Assassin's Creed Origins. I did play a good amount of this, didn't beat it. This was the start, I think, of the massive open worlds. Like Black Flag was big, but it didn't seem as big because you were on the ship and you're hitting island to island and stuff. This is just a massive open world. And then this one is ridiculous. It's almost too big, Odyssey. I've said in the past. As crazy as it sounds, it's not one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. But it's an awesome open world game. The game world's huge in this. There's tons to do, obviously, and it looks great. But to me, it's not. It doesn't have the feel of a traditional Assassin's Creed. You can almost split them up into two different eras now. That's why I liked Mirage, because it took it back to that tighter play and stuff. A smaller game world, but still sizable enough. Here's the dual pack. Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Rare Replay. Yes, it is 2 discs. Rare Replay is just 30 epic games, not epic, 30 rare games by Rare over the years from the Spectrum, I think, all the way up until the 360. A lot of good stuff on there. Cobra Triangle's on there for the NES, which is great. But you're getting all the Grab by the Ghoulies. You get a lot of the N64 stuff. GoldenEye's on here now because of the licensing thing. Donkey Kong 64 is not because it's Nintendo property. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Really cool. I played through that when I got it again, and it was cool. And it had parts in it. I'm like, I don't remember this. And then I realized it was on the PC version because they added in some stuff. You fight like a Brumac and stuff. I was like, this didn't happen. Like, there's no way this happened. I was like, so that was kind of cool. They added in some stuff. The first Gears of War, when I first played, it was jaw-dropping. I was like, yes, this is like the new generation. You know, it looked great. It was a cool game. It introduced all the classic characters. Baird, there in the corner. Cole, Marcus, and Dom. TMNT, the Cowabunga Collection. Has a ton of Ninja Turtles games on it from the NES, Game Boy, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and the arcade versions as well. It's fun. If you're into the old beat-em-ups, you're going to love this. Call of Duty World War II. This is actually a good one. I like this one. Who's the guy in it? Someone plays your, like, superior. Is it Josh Duhamel? Who's also in Callisto Protocol as well, so he seems to be getting in on this. This is a cool game. I like this one. It looked amazing, and it was kind of funny because it brought it back to World War II, and you were like, oh, wow, it's refreshing again, or it's fresh again. Because World War II was getting played out in the video game universe, and then they went to the Modern Warfare, and then that got played out. And they did like Black Ops, so you had the Cold War era stuff. And but they do jump back into World War II, though, from time to time. As you'll see again. Sega Genesis Collection Classics. Has over 50 classic Genesis games. If you like the Genesis, which I do, this is where it's at. It's got everything. It's got the freaking Columns games, Shinobi games, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Vector Man, Echo the Dolphin, Kid Chameleon's on here, Light Crusader, Phantasy Star games, the Toe Jam and Earls, Virtua Fighter 2, Gunstar Heroes, a ton of Sonics, obviously, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Beyond Oasis, E-SWAT, which is a classic in my opinion. Sword of Vermilion, which no, that was Sword of Sodan. Is that on here? No, it is not. Shining Force game, Shining in the Darkness, which is another classic I love. If you like the Genesis and 16-bit action, this is it. Assassin's Creed Chronicles. So this has the, I think it was China, India, and Russia. And you play, it was like side-scrolling, cool game. Sometimes you would go like, the perspective wouldn't change, but you'd be like running back into the background and then the foreground and stuff. It looks nice, and you get different gameplay elements here, as you can see. Like this guy's got a gun and shit, you know. So it's some different stuff there. I actually liked it. I didn't play all three of them. I'm pretty sure I played the India one full. Is it India? I think it is. And I was playing some of the other ones as well, but it was fun. Doom Eternal. It's Doom. It's fast-paced, it's fun, it looks great. It can be overwhelming, this game can get tough at times, but it's fun. Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden. Once again, another one I bought. That was cheap. And still is cheap, so it's another turn-based turn-based strategy game. This is what I got from Five Below. I have not opened it, obviously, as well. Tom Clancy's Division 2. Now I know you need online for this, but I think you can play yours by yourself, which I would prefer to do. Scarlet Nexus, another one I got from Walmart in Florida for $10. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. So this was originally a PSP game, I believe. Once again, I got it for like $5 off eBay. I've heard this one's pretty decent. If anyone's played it, let me know how it is. Another one I got at Five Below, NBA 2K21. I heard this game sucks. A lot of you said it sucked when I talked about it. It did not review well. Damian Lillard is not on the Blazers anymore. He's on the Bucks now. It was $5, so I grabbed that. I was like, maybe I'll play a little bit of a basketball game again. And I did not. Call of Cthulhu, another hidden type gem horror game. It's cool. You lose your shit. There's different endings if you're like reading the Necronomicon. If you read it like a certain amount, I'm pretty sure I got the ending where he like calls Cthulhu. But it's cool when you lose your stuff. The Shambler's in here. You fight the Shambler, which is kind of a cool boss fight where you have to like stab the right. You have to use the right blade and like I think stab a book or something. It was a pretty cool game. It wasn't super long, but it's cool when you have like detective type stuff you're doing as well. Mega Man 11. It's Mega Man. You know, it looks nice. It's the 2D stuff. You know, the fact that they kept making these Capcom, they start to make them again. I thought it's kind of cool. I'm not super into Mega Man, but it is pretty fun. It can be challenging, as the old ones all were. Biomutant. Interesting open world game. The combat's actually pretty fun in this. I didn't play all of it, but I was having fun with what I played of it. It's open world. Borderlands 3, it's one I got cheap. I want to say in Florida too. When I bought like 4 for $10. I think it was. I think I can remember the other 3 too when I get to them. I'm pretty sure this is one of it. I haven't played it yet. Love the first Borderlands. Valkyria Chronicles 4. Really cool art style in this game. These games in general. Although it's really the first and this one. I think 2 and 3 were on the PSP as well. They got released on the PSP. It's a cool strategy RPG where it's more of a gas meter where your like thing runs out, but you can go all over the place until your thing runs out. It's not like you're forced onto a grid. It looks nice. The gameplay is fun, and the soundtrack is great. This takes a lot of the songs from the first game, which is nice. It almost looks like a painting. Graphic style. This is one I got. I can't even say recently anymore, but I remember I bought those cheap games, Battlefield Hardline, $3. I had played this. This is one of the first games I played when I got the system. It's a cool game. It was different. You're a cop, and I think it's in Miami and shit. It was cool. It was just a cool look, and it was just a different feel. And you had some, also kind of detective stuff where you're like scanning shit and like finding out how many people are in a building and stuff. Far Cry 6, played some of it, tried to get back into it. I don't know why I can't get into this game. I just don't know why. I might try again. I think I got it from Gamefly for like $10, and I played like a good 4 or 5 hours, and I just lost interest. Started playing again. I couldn't get into it like the other ones. I don't know. I'll have to try again because I wasn't like not having fun, but something wasn't clicking. I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 3 is still sealed. I need to play that. This is one where I like wanted to just screw around and play it. Be happy few. Another one that seems interesting and has a different story, but it's still sealed. Those last 2 were gifted to me. Some, like I said, some of these were gifted, some were not. A lot were, but some were. Here's another Final Fantasy I got in Florida. World of Final Fantasy Maxima. I did play some of this originally on the Vita. You stack your enemies and it has this art style. What is chibi or something art style? I don't know. But you like get enemies and they stack. I don't know. It's weird. It's $10. Unfortunately, the artwork is pushed down. Whatever, not that it matters. Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age S Definitive Edition. This game's awesome. I played a bunch of this, and I should have stuck with it, but I went to something else because I have a problem with that. Looks gorgeous. This was... where did this come out originally? I don't know. I don't know if this was like... This might have been a DS game. It wasn't a PS2 game, right? I know Dragon Quest was on the PS2 as well, but was this originally a DS game? I don't know. I don't know the history. I know it started as Dragon Warrior. It was Dragon Quest in Japan. They called it Dragon Warrior here, and then it's been around a bit, but it's fun. This is another one that came from that one in Florida. It was like 4 for $10. Injustice 2. I haven't played it. It's a fighting game with the DC heroes and villains. And I'm pretty sure, as it shows here on the thing, I think Superman kind of goes nuts and starts killing people. Titanfall 2. This is $2. I did play some of it and it was cool. I just stopped playing it. It was a fun shooter where you hop in the mechs from time to time. Quantum Break. I got this for $1. I had played it. I had gotten it from GameFly. Rented it a while back. And it was cool. It was an exclusive. And then I got it again. It was actually just straight up $1 because the person at GameStop at the time was like, oh, I don't have any change. Like, just give me the $1. I was like, nice. Garage sale pickup. Cool game. It's got, I forget his name too. Sean Ashmore. He's been in stuff. You've seen him in stuff. He was in, he played Iceman in the X-Men. And he's been in a bunch of other shit as well. He was in a movie I saw, probably not even recently, with Cole Hauser. I think Bruce Willis popped up in as well. Pretty cool game made by the people who do Alan Wake and Control, the first 2 Max Paynes. Was it Remedy? I thought this was Remedy, yes. Because you get a full download for that. But it was a cool game. It's kind of like almost episodic and stuff. Had a nice look. Cool powers. Mass Effect. Legendary Edition. It's got the 3 Mass Effects in there. I got this because it was cheap and I want to play through the first one. As I never played the first one. I did play 2 and 3. I only played some of the first one. But you get 3 legendary games in here. They are really good. I might talk about it briefly, or maybe I'll talk about it briefly here. Mass Effect 2. Like, I've always enjoyed games, but I played Mass Effect 2, and I remember reading someone say, like, oh, it made me, like, fall in love with games, or this is, like, the reason I love gaming. And I was like, what kind of fucking ridiculous shit is this? And then I was playing, I was like, this game is fucking sick, and I'm getting nostalgic about a game that was new at the time, and I was, like, bringing me back to when it was, like, super, like, first love in games and stuff. I was like, it really does. It give you that vibe. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth does the same thing for me. It plays... it feels like an old school Final Fantasy while being completely new. It's incredible. Like, I'm playing it, I'm, like, smiling the whole time because I'm like, I love video games. This is why I love video games. When you're playing something like that. Mass Effect 2 does that, and so does Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Blair Witch. Survival horror game. This was made by the people who made, or are making the Silent Hill 2 remake. Final Fantasy X-2 remastered. I bought this because it was like $20 I wanted. But I started playing 10 because they had this on Game Pass. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to play it on Game Pass. I played the shit out of 10. Got towards the end. I think I have the fight sin, and then I got rid of Game Pass. Eventually, I will go back to finish that, though. And 10-2, I've talked about 10-2. I love 10-2. People shit on 10-2. I love 10-2. Watch Dogs. Haven't played it yet. It's open world. This game is very, what's the word they use? I forget. It was very, not controversial, because it wasn't, but like some people hate it, some don't. Similar to the first Assassin's Creed game. What is that word? Bloodstained, Curse of the Night. This was gifted too, but I had played a bunch of this on, it was Game Pass as well. I think it's made by a bunch of the people who, or some of the people that made, like the original Castlevanias back in the day, or maybe Symphony of the Night. But it plays like that. It's like that, except it's just not Castlevania characters. It's fun though. It's cool. Those kind of games are cool where you're finding new areas and stuff like that, and you're trying to find everything on the map. Story is Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. It's a farming game. This is what I want to open up to and play. This was gifted to me as well. Because I just want to jump in and have some of this kind of fun, you know, you do all this kind of stuff. Red Dead Redemption 2, arguably the greatest game of that generation. If you said it was, I wouldn't argue with you. Because this game's awesome. He plays Arthur Morgan here. This game still is the best open world in terms of just stuff that's... Now, I haven't played everything. I don't know how Baldur's Gate 3 is, and some of these newer games I haven't touched. But the open world in this game is just so alive. There's so much weird shit you can find at like every corner of the map. Something's happening. And so many different scenarios could happen, and things could just happen, and things happen randomly and stuff. It's just such a great game. Cool story. It's got the comedy of Rockstar, but it's not goofy in the way of like a GTA 5, where it's like almost all just funny. That's why 4 was kind of cool, GTA 4, because it still had the stupid shit and the goofy shit, but it was very serious as well. This is a serious game. Arthur's a great character. The side quests in this game are just awesome as well. Like, just, it's so good. It's so good. And it looks amazing. Just one of the best, really. Pillars of the Earth. This is like I think like a visual novel type game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I'd gotten this for Christmas a few years ago. I never opened it. I did play some of this on Game Pass, and it was cool. It says something on here how like it's made with people who created in collaboration with neuroscientists and people who experience psychosis. It actually has a feeling when you're playing it of being dreamy and weird, and you almost feel like you're playing in like a dream world. It's very interesting. I know that second one's coming out. Yes, because Microsoft owns Ninja Theory, so I don't think that one's going to be coming to PS5. You never know. Because that one looked interesting. The second one. Metro Exodus. I got this one because it was $5. I played some of this on Game Pass as well, but I had to stop because the game started making... It's just like the system was like... and it froze up. And I was like, I don't want to bother with this anymore. These games are cool, though. Post-apocalyptic games. This one, you're above ground. I know the first one, you're mostly underground, but you had to come out. This one has Metro 2023 Redo in it. Last Light was the second one, I think. They're first-person shooters. Gears 5 I had played on Game Pass and then picked it up again because it was $5 at Best Buy. I actually really liked this Gears of War game. I thought it was really good, and it was a tad bit open, which was nice. Which was cool for Gears of War. I like that. And you have to make an important decision at the end. Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty. I got this. I played this. I rented it from Gamefly and played it through, but it was $5 a game. Five Below. I really like this Call of Duty because it was different. You had some very sparse like space combat, but there's also things side missions where you can go into like busted up spaceships and stuff real briefly, and then you're on ground. Obviously, you're on Earth doing stuff as well. It just had a cool feel to it. It was different, and I liked it. But this one kind of gets shit on too. I don't know if the campaign gets shit on. I think the multiplayer gets shit on, but I'm not sure. Doom. Once again, it's Doom. It's back. It plays like old school Doom while looking amazing. Obviously, Eternal is the sequel, but this came from Garage Sale, I believe. Battlefield 1 brings it back to World War I in this one, actually. So I was wrong before because I said World War II. This one brings it back to World War I. I didn't play multiplayer. I wanted to play the campaign stuff where you play as different characters and shit at different points during the war and stuff. It was kind of cool, actually. War stories from around the world. Gears of War 4, I picked this one up again because it was $2 at GameStop. This came with, when I first had it, it came with my console. When I got it back in 2016. And I would have had the other 4 Gears of War, the 3, and then Judgment as well, downloaded. It's cool, but 5 is better. Man, 20 got it at a garage sale for $1, haven't played it. Rise Son of Rome, this is a launch title, I believe, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool game. Set in this era, the Roman era or whatever. It looks fantastic. When I played it years after it came out, it still looked incredible. It's just a pretty brutal combat as well. Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second of those newer Tomb Raider games. It's my least favorite of the 3. This one's more of almost an extension of the first one. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is my favorite, but it still is a cool game. Raiding the tombs in this and doing the tomb puzzles is really fun. It is cool. They're cool games, though. Like Harry Potter, it says the collection. This has the years 1 through 4 and 5 through 7. Cool Lego games. Lego games for me, if you're not into the source material it's based on, you'll still enjoy it, but not the same. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. I played and beat it, but I wasn't committed to do everything. Like this one, the Lego Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, etc., Star Wars ones. I want to do everything, because I like the source material. Solid 5, Phantom Pain looks great. Wacky story, the usual. Metal Gear stuff. This is a pretty big game world as well, and doing stuff. Has a really cool opening, too. Trine 4 and the Trine Complete Collection, so that's the 4 Trine games. Fun, but sometimes annoying games. They look fantastic, though, and the gameplay is fun. Good puzzle-type action. Gears Tactics. So Gears of War stuff, just in a turn-based strategy tactical thing. I played a good amount of this, and it was pretty cool. I need to actually... This is one I'm going to not put in the box, because I kind of want to screw with this some more. Because it was fun. Final Fantasy 15. I like this game quite a bit. I did a review on it years back. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, let's see if I remember them. I always do this. You got Noctis here. Prompto. Gladios, or Gladio, they just call them Ignis. That's the 4 of them. 4 friends, cool story, cool combat. It's the combat now that's using like Rebirth and stuff. Pretty cool game world. But it's not as good as like a Rebirth of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but this is a really cool game though. This is another one came from that 4 for 10 Dragon Age Inquisition. I've only played a little bit of this. Royal Humans, so this was a remake of the game that came out on PS2 and Xbox. And it might have been on the GameCube as well, but it might not have been. Looks nice. It's funny too because this game is like a throwback. It like this game when it came out during that era, it fit that era so well. But when you play it now, it's still fun. You're like, wow, it feels like a throwback the way you're doing certain objectives and certain little side things you do. It's such a feel of the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast era. It looks nice and it's fun and stupid. There's totally different ways you can mess up the humans and shit. They did redo the second one as well, I believe. Walking Dead, the final season, cool game. You play as Clementine here now, who's older. I don't know who the kid is here. I forget his name, but he's like, now you've taken the role of like Lee was in the original one. It's a cool game. Some of the people from the original season, the first one, pop up. At least one does. But it's cool. You end up going you find an old boarding school, I think, in the woods. That kids are still there, and you're hanging out with them, and that's like your home base, and you're doing stuff, and it's episodic as well, I believe. Really cool game, though. It's really cool, and the stories are always good in this, and the look. I still want to get the, I think it was seasons 1, 2, and the New Frontier or something, and then there was the Michonne one as well, I believe. They have them all in a collection, and they have the art style of this one, because this one has a cooler look. The other ones look cool, but this one has a cooler look than those, and they redid them in that style. Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy. It's Wheel of Fortune, it's Jeopardy. Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. They say remastered here, but this is like almost like a remake in my opinion. And it's great. It's like if you like the Tony Hawk's, you're gonna go back and play this and be like, oh my god, the music, everything. It's still fun. The gameplay still holds up, and it's just cool. These games, when they came out, were like a revolutionary. You're like, holy shit. Ukulele and the Impossible Layer. This is made by some people who used to work at Rare. So it's very Rare-like. Like Banjo-Kazooie. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I actually played a good amount of this on the 360, and then I think I got this from a thrift store for like $3. This one takes it a little further into the future now. You know, this game's fucking awesome. This was actually made by Insomniac, and I guess Sony was like, you know what, bring it back. And now I think they're just a second-party developer for Sony again. Because this was an exclusive to the Xbox, and this game's underrated, I think, in my opinion, because I got this for like $4 new, so it must not have sold well. But it's so fucking fun. It's bright and colorful. You get the crazy weapons like Ratchet and Clank and the Resistance games. You know, it's kind of goofy. You're rail sliding along things like Infamous and shit. It's just a super fun game. Pretty sure Buzz Osborne from the Melvins pops up in this. And these, like, I think they were like tower defense type missions you had to do. Really cool. Check this game out if you have an Xbox One, because it's probably like $2 now. Jedi Fallen Order. I think I like this one more than Jedi Survivor. There's more planets and stuff. Jedi Survivor did different things differently and better than this one, but this one just had more places to explore. And once again, I'm going to bring up Final Fantasy again. And because when I get to a new area of Final Fantasy Rebirth, I'm like pumped to see what it looks like. The same thing with this game. When you get to a new planet, you're like, yes, I can't wait. The problem is, you don't get enough of that in Jedi Survivor. You got more of that in this. That's what makes a Star Wars game, an open Star Wars game, cool. Like, I want to see this next new planet. And there's just not enough of them. In Survivor, Fallen Order has more. Halo 5 Guardians, probably, the weakest Halo game. Maybe 4 is the weakest. This and 4 are the two weakest of the Halo games, in my opinion. I don't think most people would debate it, but I did pick it up. It was $3. Now, I played it and enjoyed it. I think I paid like $15 for it originally when I had it. Not a bad game, but it's just not, compared to the other ones, it's not even close. Mafia 3. Cool open world game. I've talked about the brutal opening in this. This game starts off brutal, but you're gaining area and stuff. You're part of the mob, and then you're taking over territories and stuff. Battlefield 4. I did play some of this and was enjoying it and then stopped. Because this is like $2 as well. I never played the multiplayer. Watch Dogs 2. Was playing this and enjoying it and then stopped. Halo Infinite. This is the best of the Halos that 343 has done. By far. I actually really like this one. It's a bit of an open world. There's cool things to go do and shit. It's got some of the old music in it as well. This was a good Halo, actually, and I don't know if they're making another Halo that isn't just multiplayer based. I don't know. This is a really cool game, though. Phobia Saint Dinfa. Hotel. I was enjoying this game. It was an old school survival horror game, and I got up to a point where I just the gameplay in this is not good, and the fighting. I was fighting a boss, and it was pissing me off so much because the gameplay is so damn clunky in this game that I think I'm gonna have to go back, gear up on more stuff, and go into it more, and just take it out because it was actually pretty creepy and stuff. But it was like a clunky, like an old school survival horror game, which like don't make it as clunky, you know. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game before, but this is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It's like a hidden gem not many people know about. No, I'm kidding, obviously. It's Skyrim. It's been released 900 times. It's awesome. Please release Elder Scrolls 6. For Forza Horizon 3, this is the other one I had gotten in Florida. I haven't played it. It's a racing game that's not... It's more of an, I guess, an arcadey type one more than the normal Forza games. There might be like 5 Horizon games now, too. G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. This is a definition of a 6.0, and it's not even a bad game. It's just it's one I played through, but the gameplay is very repetitive. But I still played through it, so it's like one of those games you pick up for cheap and play through it. Sinking City. I completed this one. Actually, I completed this one after Siberia 3. I think this was a cool game. A throwback. It's made by the people who make the Sherlock Holmes games, so you get a lot of detective work. And you always want to go do stuff, like even though some of the combat's a little clunky, it's not terrible. But it was a really cool game. I'm glad I just threw it in. I'm like, I want to throw something in. Then I started it and stopped playing, and I threw it in and played it to the end. And I did all 3 endings because you were able to at the end because the save was right there. It's another Cthulhu-based game. All right, here we go, the Dark Pictures game, Man of Medan. Cool. I like these games. They're like evolved point-and-click type games where you're doing more stuff. But it's a lot of button pressing. And they all have... Oh, this has... What's his name in it from... I think Sean Ashmore's in this as well. I love that you're noticing these people now from video games. It's great. Little Hope. I like this one. This is probably a second favorite of all of them that I've played. Including... no, maybe not. I did like Until Dawn. This one's got... what's his name in it? I forget his name. He was just in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in Where the Millers or Meet the Millers, whatever it is. He was in Maze Runner. He's been in a ton of stuff. I forget his name. I forgot his name the last time I talked about this game, too. I almost had it. What the fuck's his name? I gotta think here for a second. What's his name? Will something? Will Poulter? Is that it, Will Poulter? House of Ashes. This is, in my opinion, the weakest of the 3, even though I did enjoy it. This has Ashley Tisdale? And they all revolve around some kind of horror thing. And once again, I should talk about this. All your characters could die. All of them could live. Some could die, depending on the choices you make or if you fuck up a button press. This one took place in, like, Iraq. During, I guess it was during Desert Storm, the first one. And these creatures are like underground and shit. Delvin and me. Some people did not like this one. I actually thought this one was cool. This is like the Saw of these games. You're trapped in rooms and stuff and shit like that. But I actually really like this one. It looked really nice. And this woman has been in stuff too, but I cannot remember her name at all, so I'm not going to try to. And they do bring back people from the other ones as well. You will see in this one. Some of the actors will be playing different parts and stuff. I think I had everyone survive in this one, actually. And The Quarry, which is like the spiritual successor to Until Dawn. It's a standalone one. I like this one quite a bit. This has a lot of known people in it. You got David Arquette there, Lin Shaye. Oh, I can't remember the kid's name. From Santa Clarita Diet, I believe he was in. He's playing Jimmy Olsen, I think, right? Or something in the Spider-Mans. And it's got a bunch of other people. Justice Smith is down there. The one girl who was on Modern Family, I believe. I think Brenda Song is down there as well. I like this game. It was like Lance Henriksen as well. Ted Raimi. Some people like this one too. I thought it was cool. And I think if you like the premise too, it's in the camp counselors and shit and stuff's going on. Spoiler alert, this is like werewolves loves this one. Well, we're gonna end it with the Resident Evils. Resident Evil Village, awesome game. First person again, like 7. Really cool game. This one's much more open than 7 was. And you're taking down the 4, whatever the fuck they call them. Main bad people. And you're doing everything. And the hub is kind of like the middle ground and stuff. Looks cool. Pretty cool story as well. I think this one even brings it back to like the original Resident Evil in terms of how it started and other people who were involved and everything. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This one is better in my opinion than Village. It's creepier for sure than Village. This, for me personally, is the creepiest of the Resident Evil games that I've ever played. When I first played in first person, like, this is intense, man. The first part, and you find it use Ethan with Winters in this one and Village, and you find out what he is in the second one. Well, in Village, why he can take all the damage he can and shit. You feel bad for him, actually. This one, I got this one again because I had it and then sold it, but I got it again because I want all the DLC in this game is amazing. It is so cool. Especially the band footage shit where you're strapped to the bed and every time Marguerite leaves, you can do stuff and then you have to get back into your position that you were in before she comes back. There's the one you do with Lucas, I think is the son, where it's like it's a Saw type thing. Really cool. Just a cool game, and it's creepy. You feel bad for the Bakers in this. It was such a cool game, though. It was a creepy Resident Evil for me, and then other ones have gotten there since then. Like Revelations 2, which I'll show in a minute. But this game's phenomenal. Revelations 2, I thought this game was creepy. This was episodic as well, if you bought it, like, online. When they were coming out monthly, and then they put them all on a disc where you can buy them all at once. You play as Claire, and it is Barry Burton's kid, right, in this one. Claire? No, not Claire Burton. Just say her name. No, it does not. And he plays Barry and that little girl there. You fine. So it goes back and forth between two. There's actually some choices in this. Things people can die in this one. Pretty heartfelt story between Barry and his kid, though. And it was creepy. This was a creepy game. It takes place on an island somewhere. I forget where. Survive horror, return, blah, blah, blah. Abandoned island facility. Similar to like Code Veronica was on an abandoned island facility, wasn't it? This is a creepy game though, and I got this for cheap. Resident Evil 2, another just phenomenal remake of a classic game. You got Claire and Leon here, obviously. This game is awesome. It's awesome. It's a remake, and it feels nostalgic while being fresh and new. And you know what? I got no problem anymore. When they remaster a game, like, oh, look, when they did it with Last of Us Remastered, and then they did a full remake on the PS5. But I'm not a huge fan of them remake. Like, oh, here's Sleeping Dogs Remastered, or here's freaking Bulletstorm Remastered, or whatever the fuck, Rogue, like random shit. When you do a full-on remake, it feels like a new game. They did it with Final Fantasy VII. They did it with Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4. Especially from the stuff from the PlayStation generation, you know, and you know, that, like the original, like, it's so fresh, and it feels like a new game. So I'm not a huge fan of remasters. Whatever. You're doing a full-on remake, Tony Hawk's as well. That is going to get me interested, and I want to see you do it with other games. That's why I'm hoping the Silent Hill 2 remake's good. Please, God, be good. I'll even give it this. Just be decent. Don't be garbage. And we will end it on Resident Evil 3. I like this game, but it's not nearly as good as 2 or 4 in the remake category. They made this more like an action movie. It's still cool, and I enjoyed it, but it's the weakest of the 3, in my opinion. But yeah, I was able to get this under an hour. Yeah, that is my Xbox One collection. I don't know. There's a few games. I might get like Transformers Devastation game at some point. But I've gotten all the games I've needed for that system. And I have enough to play.